Yeah, it's a long way from Tipperary to Chester, but punters think it's a pretty short route to the winner here with this O'Brien filly, Alluringly. Interestingly, William Hills are still even money, whereas other bookmakers are back out now to 6-5. But it's much, much shorter than the Gosden filly, Enable. They were very close in the morning papers, but it's one-way traffic. Alluringly over Enable here. The other two, they're not interested in at all.
Time to have a chance to have a look at some of these fillies in the paddock ahead of the Cheshire Oaks. So this is Alluringly just making her way towards us. She has two handlers looking to give Aidan O'Brien a third win on the bounce in this race and a sixth in total. He's got a really good record in it, and she looks nice and relaxed. She's actually not a typical sort of light, long filly who looks as though she's going to get an absolute bundle further. She won't have to get a huge amount further than this, of course, if she's going to go on to contest the Oaks, and that is where she's entered up, and that is what she will do after this, you'd imagine. But she's got a fair bit of power about her. She looked good when winning Tipperary last time. This is a step up, but Aidan O'Brien does like to target this race, and as I say, he's got a really good record in it. We'll just spin round to our left and pick up the 4 filly here, who is Enable, who is just right in front of us as we speak now. She too is relaxed. She's just having a bit of a fling of her head around, but nothing to worry about. She does look nice and relaxed, and John Gosden has won this race before. She's looking to give him another win in the race. She was good at Newbury last time, and she could well frank the form of John Gosden's filly, who's currently second favourite for the Oaks at the moment. She just looked like she wanted a bit further last time, and she gets that here, so that may well suit her. But both those fillies at the top market look really, really well here in the paddock ahead of race 2 on the card, which is the Cheshire Oaks.
Alluringly, well, she certainly has an alluring pedigree, being by Fastnet Rock out of All for Glory, who was unraced, but her dam was second in the Oaks, All Too Beautiful, and her dam was the legendary Urban Sea, so related to Galileo and See the Stars and all the others, and she really does look the part, Sam.
Yes, she's got a very alluring demeanour as well, Nick. She's a pretty statuesque, robust filly that's very strong through the shoulder. Loads of style and substance about her, as you'd imagine, and both her and Enable were definitely the paddock picks. They look the two fillies going forward that they look as though they're capable of winning nice races.
Aidan O'Brien has won this race with Sail, with Perfect Truth, with Diamonds and Rubies, with Somehow, and also Wonder of Wonders, who is related to Alluringly. 7-1, 25, 10-1 the SPs at Kelso. Lily's Legend, the winner there. Enable is 2-1. John Gosden's daughter of Nathaniel. And Nathaniel has shown more promise as a sire, as you'd expect, as his progeny got a little bit older.
Yes, and she's bound to come on for that first effort at Newbury. She was given a nice tidy ride on that occasion behind stablemate, who is well vaunted for the Oaks, so she's going to step up on that. She's got plenty of stature and size about her as well.
I'd give Argenterie a squeak of running better than 16-1. Not saying she can beat Alluringly, but that run in the Rockville wasn't as bad as it looked. She had a shocker at the start. Prior to that, she looked quite impressive.
Yeah, she vaulted up at Salisbury. Nice, big, powerful horse as well. Just look as though the run would bring her on a little bit for my unguided eye.
Enable and Alluringly time form ratings 116 and 112p respectively. 2 back for the Arkle Finance Cheshire Oaks for the Robert Sangster Memorial Cup. How we love this place, how we love this place, how Stuart Machin loves this place. Here he is.
Tan Sholpan will complete the line for this listed prize, getting into stall 4 under Andrea Atzeni, just making the handlers work a little as she backs away slightly. Favourite Alluringly just getting a little on edge in stall 2. Tan Sholpan half there, and then backs away again once more, and still Alluringly on her toes, keen to get out of stall 2, but having to wait for Tan Sholpan at present, who if anything is just edged a little bit further away from the gates despite the application of the blindfold. It's moving in the right direction now. It's taking the efforts of the bulk of the stalls team to get this filly in. She's almost there. And then she's out again. And she's in now. That's it. They're ready. All set. They're off for the Arkle Finance Cheshire Oaks, racing for the Robert Sangster Memorial Cup. And Erica, being out wide in a maroon sleeve jacket, got out brightly and leads them around the turn, beginning to cross to the running rail. Enable in the hands of Frankie Dettori, pink cap slotting into second in advance of Alluringly. Ryan Moore, the purple jacket, against the running rail, shadowed by Tan Sholpan, who's deeper out. And then Hidden Steps, a black jacket with a couple behind. Rich Legacy towards the left, the Claret Soaks. And Argenterie held up last of the 7 strong field as they meander their way up the straight first time. Erica Bing then will lead them with a circuit of the Rudy in front of them, a little over a length clear to Enable into the turn in second. Couple of lengths away, Alluringly happy to track the leading pair. Tan Sholpan racing a little keenly on the outside of Hidden Steps as they head to the 7 marker. And then Rich Legacy and Argenterie continues at the tail of the field, just being hustled into the bridle for a couple of strides. Along the viaduct side of the racecourse they go then, approaching the halfway point of the Arkle Finance Cheshire Oaks, and Erica Bing and Chester Specialist Franny Norton leading up, with Enable a close second under Dettori. Still 2 lengths away, Alluringly Moore sitting quietly in third. Tan Sholpan, Andrea Atzeni, pale blue jacket, racing wide of Hidden Steps and David Probert. And then Rich Legacy and Asheen Murphy, and reminders from Martin Dwyer at the back of the field for Argenterie. They got now about 4.5 furlongs left to travel, and up ahead still Erica Bing against the fence leading Enable. Alluringly has got clear sailing. Hidden Steps down on the inside fence, a half length Tan Sholpan. Rich Legacy, a claret jacket, is deeper out, and Argenterie is in touch. Tempo now beginning to lift. They're running towards the 3 marker, and Frankie aboard Enable is moving upsize the pace, setting Erica Bing. Alluringly shaken up to get closer now. Moore trying to cover Dettori's move. Rich Legacy circling the field, is moving up from the rear. Hidden Steps a bit shorter daylight behind Tan Sholpan. Dettori was the first to commit on Enable. Alluringly is out after, has got 2 lengths to make up as they head towards the top of the straight in the Cheshire Oaks. It's Enable in front of the hands of Frankie Dettori. Moore now in full flight on Alluringly, trying to bridge the gap. 200 yards to cover. Enable. Alluringly edging a little bit closer. They're miles clear of the rest. Enable finding plenty for Frankie in front, and he's going to run out a ready winner. Enable, more than able, takes the Cheshire Oaks. Alluringly second, Tan Sholpan third, and Rich Legacy was back in fourth.
And on this occasion, the master of the Cheshire Oaks, Aidan O'Brien, has to give best to John Gosden, whose Enable has landed the 2017 running. The daughter of Nathaniel, who John trained himself. From a coloured Abdallah family, she has won under Frankie Dettori. She was well placed by Frankie Dettori. She settled beautifully, and though Ryan Moore attempted to cover every move that Frankie made, the winner had that little more in the way of tactical speed when it mattered. The two have pulled a country mile clear of the rest.
Yeah, she was a little bit keen and exuberant at Newbury, but she settled beautifully there, as you alluded to, Nick, and she was always on the shoulder of the pacemaker, and once Frankie realised that the tempo was dipping, he picked up the baton, and the 2 to 3 lengths that she managed to nick with a sharp turn of foot or a decent piece of acceleration served her to good stead. And you know, John Gosden looks to have another viable contender for a classic, whether it's in this country or whether it's in France. But it pays a handsome compliment, certainly, to Shutter Speed.
It does. Her stable companion in the same ownership who Frankie Dettori rode when this filly Enable was third in that Newbury race. The same Newbury race that was won by Lightshift in the year that she won the Oaks. Lightshift also won this Cheshire Oaks en route to Epsom. And the point about that Newbury race is it's contested by colts as well. So Shutter Speed not only has beaten the Cheshire Oaks winner, she's also beaten colts. She's building quite a nice CV to Epsom. I wonder how John Gosden will play this, whether he'll go 1 England, 1 France, or run them both in the Oaks.
Well, yeah, it's conceivable. I would imagine that France might be the destination for her, but the vibes into that Newbury race were that Shutter Speed was by far the more significant filly of the two. Now, whether this filly stepped forward markedly, she has improved, obviously, for that Newbury performance. Well, I say obviously, I think she has improved. She's beaten a very decent horse in Alluringly, who herself was very impressive at Tipperary in a reasonable race of its type. So